Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another second stream ever of FPL Dave's Monday after stream. I'm FPL Dave. I'm the same guy in the logo, except minus these. I cannot wear them when I'm streaming because you guys can see the screens. So yeah, it's me, but less similar visual. Anyway. How is everyone doing? I thought we'd start the stream off with a very massive gloat for the boys. I've even picked an appropriate song. 90 points. Top 2k. It feels good. It feels good. It feels amazing. Not much went right. So the song seems kind of it's taking a while to get onto the bit. There we go. Oh, I'm gonna turn it down now. It feels too cheesy. Anyway, so it's free hit game week 31. I did very well in game week 30, so I'm gonna have a quick look at that, recap and see how we did. I'm gonna go through free hit 31, all the best picks, and see whether we want to go kind of risky or safe, or what do we want to do. But it's going to be a good stream. It's an exciting time. Chip fever. I'm very jealous of everyone who gets to do their free hit this week. I just want to get to double game week so I can use mine. But I've been messing around with my team anyway. It's actually a lot of fun. So if you're bored or whatever, I would highly recommend, even if you're doing free hit 32, to go and see what your team could be if you were doing it. How is everyone doing in the stream? Stealth Panda back. All right, MM. I don't know who you are, MM. You're not. You're an enigma. So hello, and then Liam, obviously. All right, man. How's it going? So yes, game week 30 recap. As you can see, I didn't take my advice and I did not go for Fraser, which was which was really annoying. I know a lot of you were like, "Oh, should we go Brooks or Fraser?" And I was like, "Definitely Fraser, definitely Fraser." I'm gonna turn this song off now and put it back onto the jazz. I know jazz is not everyone's cup of tea, but if I put anything with lyrics on, I can't concentrate. So I gotta put something acoustic on. Anyway, all right. Is that Ben? Yeah, it is Ben. Alright, man, how's it going? So yeah, game week 30. What went right, what went wrong? Really quickly, because I know everyone goes over their teams and it gets kind of boring. But yes, Fraser and Brooks. I opted to go for Brooks simply because he was cheaper and it allowed me to get Chilwell. And I felt like if I doubled up on Leicester and Leicester get a clean sheet, I'm going to get ahead of everyone. I need to use my left hand when I'm streaming because it's all this space. I would get ahead of everyone who has Pereira, and everyone has Pereira, it seems. Everyone's been annoyed about having him in the squad, so I thought if I go for Chilwell, they probably won't concede against Fulham. I'll look like a rock star, and then Brooks also has a chance to do well. No one could have predicted that Wilson was back. We could have maybe suggested that he would get 60 minutes max, but playing 90, scoring a goal, assisting. Also, the fact that Fraser did well meant that anyone who listened to me, well done. Anyone who listened to themselves or looked at the stats would have picked the same thing as well. I just needed the extra cash because I couldn't get Chilwell without him. So, kind of annoyed about that regard, but none of that matters because Sterling scored a hat-trick. I don't even know why I picked him, to be honest. Someone asked me on Twitter. They said, why you keep spouting this risk-averse strategy. I'm in the top 10k because I don't take risks. I don't try and go for differentials. I always captain what everyone else is captaining, and I use the differentials around my team to kind of work up my ranks. The Scoutcast, if you guys listen to that podcast, had a really good analogy that said swords versus shields. Your shields secure your overall rank. They're your armor, so you don't drop, and your swords are your differentials, the ones who are gonna boost your overall rank. So I'm very much a shield player, and this week I decided to not captain Salah, simply because I wanted to take a risk. I don't know why. I don't usually do it. It's not something that I do ever. The last time I did it, Aguero scored a hat-trick. And that was really, he was really the only captain. He was just not someone that anyone was looking at. And the only reason I had Aguero at that point was because was it Rashford got injured? Oh no, Kane got injured, and I brought Aguero in, and that was it. So a bit fortunate there, very fortunate here. It was a toss-up between Salah, Sterling, and Mane. I think I probably would have went for Salah anyway, if I didn't have Sterling, because I know people were comparing Salah to Mane, but yeah, went for Sterling because I figured that he was playing a better team that probably won't, set up shop that much, and they did for the first half, and the first half Sterling was absolutely rubbish. Even Pep came out and said that he was bad, despite him just scoring a hat-trick. Pep went through him really, and if you haven't seen that interview, you should go and watch the interview because it was great. It was really great. They asked Pep, they were like, so, hey, hat-trick hero, what do you think? How good was he this week? It must have been amazing. And Pep was like, he didn't tackle anyone, he didn't pass the ball when he was supposed to, he lost the ball a lot of times, so much that he could work on. Yeah, he scored 3 goals, but and that's why they are so good, that holding your players up to that high standard. It's great. But managed to get the hat-trick, 42 points from Sterling, not too shabby. Vardy and Mane also 30 points between them. Could not have predicted Vardy to do that well, although we have been saying forever that Vardy should do well under new management. He should do well. I'm actually against the idea that Vardy does well in good games. I think he just can score against any team that is open, and yeah, they opened up for him, and he did well. There seems to be a new tactic with Leicester, and that's just pass to Vardy, just anytime you can. Tielemans, if that's how you pronounce his name, Maddison, Gray, Barnes. They all were like, yeah, let's just funnel this in, and they seem to be more compact in the middle, going through Tielemans. And when I was looking at the stats, I realized that Tielemans actually shoots almost just as much, if not more, than Vardy. So that's something that I really want to look into more, and keep an eye on, because if he's doing that and they consistently go through the middle as opposed to the wide, how they've been playing in the past under their old manager, if they've decided to go through the middle, then that's something we need to definitely understand and focus on. Just a quick pause on FPL. How is the music? Last time when I listened through, the music was really loud, and I turned it down after someone mentioned it, but I'm just making sure everyone okay for music. I know it's not very good music, but not everyone's cup of tea, but it's okay, right? Awesome. I'm sure you guys will let me know. But yeah, Mane, now moving on, is consistently kicking Salah's ass in every department. Stats wise, Salah still looks great, and he was really in almost, I think, every goal, right? So every goal that he should have got the assist but didn't was because he got tackled in the box. So if he's getting in the box, touches in the box, that's still great. And I'm kind of glad that Mane didn't pass the ball for Salah to score for Mane's second goal, because Mane's a differential now. He's not got that much percentage in the top 5, the top 10%, top 10k even, and he's 28% overall. So Salah not doing much and Sterling doing everything made the game so much better for me. So yeah, 90 points, really happy with that, and managed to climb up to the highest that I've ever climbed before, 1684 overall. Pretty pleased with that. So moving on to next week, where I'm gonna absolutely ruin my overall rank, because I have I like my team. I like my team for next week. I think it's the best that I could have done in the circumstances, but it is still really annoying that we have a blank so close to a double. This hasn't really happened before. For me anyway, playing. I've not really been playing that long. Nevertheless, it is a very exciting time for me as someone who is giving it advice, because it means I get to play with my team anyway and mess about and see what kind of combinations I can do. So we'll move into that really shortly. Wow, Manny's been in your team since game week 1. Played really well at the start. Played okay in the middle. Yeah, I can see. Going Mane over Sterling or over Salah though, that's balls. If anyone's done that, let me know because I don't believe you. Anyway, let's move on to the rules of the free hit as far as I'm aware, because I've had a lot of people ask me. I've seen a lot of this in the subreddit. So let's just get out of the way now. If you make any transfers right now, and then later on, before game week 31, press your free hit button, the transfer that you had previously made will combine into your free hit team and you won't have that player back. So do not make any transfers now that you want for the next double game week, because it won't work. That's something that you have to be aware of, and you really should have made all your transfers beforehand. And I have been shouting that on Twitter and stuff, and everyone's been saying it, but just in case you're wondering next week why you don't have Sterling anymore, it's because he was added to your free hit team. So don't try and take along a player or anything. That would suck. I would hate anyone who follows me to come into that trap, because we're better than that. We're way better than that. So let's not do that. Yeah, so what else? Free hit. The free hit can only be used one game week, as we all know. You can't use anything else alongside the free hit. It's just that one chip and that's it. You don't really need any other chips. It is a really powerful one, and will take anyone through the blank that doesn't have any blank players, no problem. It was a strategy that took a lot of people who weren't really thinking about which one they wanted by surprise. Like, it just seemed like, oh yeah, you choose your free hit and the double. But then there was a little bit of a swap, and everyone started, oh, what about game week 31? I don't want to have a really rubbish team leading up into the game week 31, the blank game week. I want to be able to keep Aguero and Sterling and all those guys, which is fair enough. That totally works out. It wasn't impossible to have a team that was fit for game week 31 without using your free hit, but I can understand it's definitely dependent on your team. But here we are, free hit 31. So let's just get right into it, because I'm really excited. So I was making a team beforehand, and this is kind of what it looks like. If you guys can all see that. Oh no, it it reset. Alright, okay, fine, that's fine. Let's just make it together, okay? So right away, just to save money, let's put Alexander-Arnold in there instead of Robertson. I think that if you don't have any of them right now, and you want to spend the extra amount of money on Robertson, there isn't really any reason to, because Trent is just as attacking minded. He is pretty much nailed now. They don't really have anyone else to cover him, as far as I'm aware. And 3, he's so much cheaper. 1.4 million will do so much. So yeah, let's just have him in. I'm gonna keep Lejeune in because he's cheap as chips. No point. Fabianski actually is probably the keeper that has the most chance of a clean sheet this week. Even Alisson, simply just because of the fixture. Huddersfield is just so bad, and I'm not gonna spend much time on them, but they're really shit. So yeah, Fabianski is probably your best choice. I'm gonna change the second guy to the holy goalie. Any Celtic fans will know exactly what I'm talking about. Someone's asked just there, will Trent Alexander take a rest? I don't think so. I think every game that Liverpool play is now a must win, and although they want to win the Champions League, they've never been this close to a title in Klopp's tenure, at least. So I think it's probably going to be Alexander-Arnold from now on in every game. And I know they've got Champions League, so we're not going to know what happens then. But how many game week? Let me see. Champions League is tomorrow for them. I'm going to double check, because it depends on how many days they both have in them. So let's do this. It's just easier on my phone, that's why I'm looking down. I'm not staring at my crotch. Fixtures, Liverpool. Okay, so 13th of March, which is Wednesday, and then the 17th of March they play Fulham, which is the Sunday. So they got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to sort themselves out. So I think it'll be fine. Milner will really only play there if he's injured, and Fulham's not going to be that hard of a game, so it's not going to be very tight. I think that if it was a really difficult game, if they're playing Tottenham or someone, then you might see a substitution or something like that, but I think it'll be fine. We should be okay. And if it happens, it happens, but we can't predict it, so don't worry about Milner too much. So I'm going to leave Trent in there. I've put Boric in as my second keeper. A lot of players will already have Fabianski, and I can understand that. A lot of players might have Ederson, though. He's really well owned as well. I wouldn't play Boric as my first keeper. But you're free hitting, you might as well put him in anyway, because he is still just 4 million, and that's amazing for a starting keeper. Do you remember when everyone jumped on, who was it? Was it Heaton? No, I don't remember who it was. Keepers, let me check. There was someone who everyone jumped on because he was 4 million and he started playing, and then he stopped playing, and I was like, oh, okay, but it definitely wasn't Heaton. That's gonna annoy me all day. Does anyone know? Let's do this. Who was it? Hammer. That's who it was. So he started playing, right? And everyone was like, oh shit. But then he stopped playing. He hasn't played a game since game week 26 against Arsenal. So yeah. Anyway, Boric, I would say, is the best second keeper you can have right now, simply because he's playing and he's cheap, and there's no point in having an expensive second keeper, especially with his fixtures. Look at that sea of green. I don't think you guys can see it, but there, look at that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend bringing him in. If you're free hitting, then bring him in anyway. If Fabianski doesn't play, you've got a good keeper there, and he's cheap. So yeah, not spending more time on it. Doherty is not playing. Sterling's not playing. Let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of him. I'm gonna get rid of Brooks because I don't like him right now, because I think this man is so much better, and we've seen that he was so much better when we all watched. Total score unlimited. Right. So, like I said at the start of the stream, Fraser is better than Brooks right now, simply because he has someone to aim at. When Wilson comes into the squad, he transforms it into this very, very attacking minded wing to forward, whipped in crosses, and I'm actually going to show you guys a goal right now that proves that Wilson is the kind of further forward player, and King sits behind him. So it's really annoying for anyone who brought King in, but yeah, let's have a look. So
it's to show that tenacious side of his game more, the central midfield.
So that's King right now on the ball, right?
King. Here's Wilson. Fraser!
So that was Wilson, and he actually, that was his assist, and Fraser came out and shot. It was Fraser's first shot in ages, and he doesn't usually score, so don't worry too much about it. That goal was hard to predict, but Wilson is playing much further forward. You can see, we can even go back, he's playing
tenacious side of his game.
Fraser, King right there now on the ball. You guys can't really see that, hold on. So that's Wilson, and that's King, and he's came a lot deeper than Wilson. Wilson's kind of staying up there, so that's something really, really important to note. If you have King, I wouldn't swap him. There's no point right now unless you have a free transfer. They're the same price though, so if you're going to be going for a player and you don't know King or Wilson, you should know because they scored and King didn't, but Wilson is definitely the better choice if he's going to be playing. That was a very rare goal for Fraser, but he is going to be on that wide side making trouble. He crosses so much. It's so worth having him in your team. So let's put him in our little free hit team right now, and let's add Wilson as well. I don't like any of their defense really, and they're going to be playing against Newcastle, who have Rondon, who his stats are so good. He actually creates the most chances in his entire team. Rondon shoots the most, creates the most, so he's a no-brainer if you're going for a Newcastle asset. So I'm going to stick him in. Some people have asked me why I went for Vardy over Higuain when I was talking about them in game week 28 or 29. And my reasoning was that I preferred Vardy's fixtures over the blanks. However, that's not to say that Higuain's not a good choice. So you could potentially go 2 up top. It just means you're going to have to make sacrifices. So it's up to you guys. I would probably only choose 1, but we'll see where we are at the end, and we'll see how much money we've got left. And I know obviously we all have different teams and different prices and different bank, so don't worry, I'm not going to spend right up to my limit because I know mine's a little bit high. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep some money in. So let's just put Hazard in there because he's really the one of 3 premium assets. So it's Mane, Salah and Hazard. That's pretty much risk free. If you go for these guys, they'll probably do something in the games that they're playing, and if they don't, loads of people are going to have them anyway, so it's not too bad. Going without these 3 players and one of Vardy and Higuain will probably hurt your game rank, your overall rank. So yeah, let's just be safe. Let's just be safe. Wear protection, and by protection I mean Hazard, Mane and Salah. Next, I'm going to be a little bit controversial, I think, and pick Tielemans over Maddison. Now, last week you can go back and I did a thread where I went through my thought process for all the transfers that I was potentially going to be making this week. No, I don't have more than 3 because they are getting to France. Yeah, so I did a thread. I talked about who I would want, and process of elimination, couldn't afford Maddison, and then that made me have to check the stats, and actually the Tielemans stats are better, at least for shooting and creating chances. Maddison still crosses more, I think, and he's still a really good asset, but for 0.8 million less, and for someone who shoots more and obviously scored at the weekend there, Vardy being very selfless in passing the ball for an easy tap in, I'm going to pick Tielemans, and I won't be sad if Maddison gets something and Tielemans doesn't, because all the stats and the new tactic points towards him. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. I also kind of want a double up. I think there's not really many to choose from for defenders. There's not really any really stand out. Let's go for them in the team. I don't really like the look of Leicester defence going up against Newcastle. Is it Newcastle they're playing? Burnley, sorry. Because Burnley keep scoring these stupid goals and ruining everyone's day. And I wasn't annoyed about losing the clean sheet for Robertson because everyone had someone in Liverpool, but Burnley just have this, they just score out of nowhere and then they don't do anything. It's hard to predict who's going to do it. It's hard to predict when it's going to happen, but they just score once and then that's it. So I don't like Leicester's chances of not conceding, especially under Brendan Rodgers, and especially since their history has shown that they're not that great. I figured that I would do it just as a punt, and it didn't work out, and I'm not going to condone it for anyone else. So if you have to go for a Leicester defender, and you want to kind of throw your eggs into many different baskets, then let's just find out who the cheapest is and go from there. So Pereira used to be attacking. They played a 4 at the back, left hand. They played 4 at the back. They usually play 5 at the back, but they opted for more firepower. So it means that the defense are less attacking, simply. They're not driving forward. We can check the heat maps in a little bit if you want, or go away and check them yourselves. But Pereira and Chilwell, they didn't look comfortable what they were doing. Chilwell lost the ball a lot. He wasn't squaring it up. He was kind of running along, and that's something they're just going to get used to not being able to do with a 4 at the back. If they play 5, then fine. They'll be a bit more attacking than they were last week, but certainly with the 4 at the back and potentially doing the exact same thing, because, you know, why fix what isn't broken? 3-1 against their last opponent, potentially another similar win this week. So I would probably predict that they're going to play at the back. I hope that Chilwell stays on. I'm not confident because he had a shocking game. Yeah, I agree. So MM said they need to. They're in relegation battle. Last 4 fixtures of the season are terrible for Burnley, so they need to get some advantage now. And I would agree. They're going to try and stay up. This is them now. You know. They're not necessarily bad, but they are not good. Their stats are bad, and that's all I care about, and their fixtures aren't great, and this is probably their, like you said, the last opportunity for them to actually do something. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I do not expect Leicester to keep a clean sheet, and that's very annoying that I have 2 of their defenders, but maybe Brendan can do something with their defensive coaches, keep them 4 at the back, stop Chilwell and Pereira from running riot, and just let the forward 3 midfielders to do their work with Vardy. That's my hope. But for this team, and since we're free hitting anyway, in this little experiment, I'm going to leave them out of the team, and I'm just going to pick who is cheapest, I think, just for now, and we'll change it later if we have to. So Chilwell's probably cheapest. They're all Pereira, Chilwell, and Maguire are definitely nailed. Morgan is not nailed. I wish he was not in the team because he's just terrible, but the fans love him. So yeah, I think Chilwell, let's just add him back in. Okay, third player, I'm going to double up on West Ham. They're playing Huddersfield, they're playing at home, they looked rubbish, they'll want a clean sheet because they need to make up for Cardiff 2-0. That was just the worst I've ever seen them play. A culmination of mistakes from across the board, everyone playing really, really poorly. Fucking Cardiff. They kept a clean sheet. Anyway, we're not going to go into Cardiff. So let's just put Rice in. I think he's the cheapest and he's got the most attacking potential. None of the defenders of West Ham really do much in terms of attacking, but he's out of position, so we'll just play him and hope for the best. So let's put him in. So we have 8.6 million to spend on our last place, and this is me going through the entire team and picking bench players. So you can see the actual best players that we want for our free hit are actually quite cheap. Now I can go for, you know, Azpilicueta if I want. Just like Leicester, I don't think Chelsea are going to be keeping clean sheets anytime soon. They just look like anytime a team attacks, they just don't know what to do. However, Azpilicueta, it's hard to ignore. He's got 3 assists in 5 games, something like that. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So, and I think it's just because Emerson's been playing, right? So he swapped positions. Alonso's nowhere to be seen, which is great because he's such a liability. David Luiz will probably be back, and Rudiger's a staple. So yeah, I think Azpilicueta, if you have to pick someone from Chelsea, and you really want a piece of that action, and you don't think Everton are going to get a cheeky goal, then Azpilicueta is not that much more expensive than the other 2 that are nailed. You can't pick Emerson, unfortunately, because Alonso could get back anytime. He's just not played enough games, and they haven't had anything in the press that suggests that he's been dropped for any particular reason. He's not injured or anything like that. He hasn't punched anyone. He's not done a Kamara. So, yeah, it would be great if Sarri came out and was like, Emerson's nailed. Because then, yes, just put him in a team. No worries. 5.5 million. He's as cheap as Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he's plays for Chelsea. Like, no brainer. But I have to be a bit more strategic. So, let's do it. Took out Camarasa for Brooks. Don't tell me about Cardiff. Pelter for sub as well. Oh no. My mate actually texts me saying, if Vinegary doesn't play for Wolves, then Camarasa's coming off the bench for his 8 points. So yeah, it's weird that Camarasa's been sitting about. He was like the best 4.5 and people flocked to him to make funds. I completely understood, but it's it's funny that people still had him and then yet still got into the trap of leaving player or getting rid of players a week before they do anything. So unlucky. Dabo says, why Tielemans over Maddison Barnes? Maddison hasn't got as much shooting statistics, so we should actually just jump in. This is our team right now, so we'll come back to that. I'm gonna go into player stats just now. I'm gonna go into this screen so you guys can see better. So this thing actually takes ages, but I'm going to link it into the stream just now because it's so useful and I use it pretty much anytime I'm looking at players. But it's not exactly stream friendly. It does take a while to load up, and every single time you click, it then has to load what you've clicked. There's no like you can just set it and then press OK and then it loads it, but whatever, it's free. And whoever Tim Beyer is, I'm going to shout you out every single time I do this in the stream. You're a legend. This is an amazing piece of software. So yeah, all positions, do that. Leicester, let's just put this right down so we capture everyone. So in the last 3 games, game week 28, game week 29, game week 30. Actually, you know what? We should do 29 because that's definitely under Brendan Rodgers. So under the new management, Tielemans has shot more times than Vardy. I'm going to change this to total so that it's the total shots that we see. So Tielemans has shot 7 times in the last 2 games and Vardy has shot 5. Now they've both been 3 on target, but that just shows that like if a midfielder is getting up to shoot more times than their striker, then you know that there's something that we should be watching there. And he was in the box a lot last game against Fulham. So let me have a look at this now. 5 shots outside the box, 2 shots in the box. So yeah, it's not like he's getting in the box every time he wants to shoot, but he's getting in enough that we should be able to, you know, pick him as our one to watch from the team. Now usually Maddison is the player that we speak about, and Barnes because he's so cheap and he's coming up the ranks and he was brought back in and blah blah blah. You kind of want him to play well, but he wasn't really doing much against Fulham. He was there, he was in and about, and he played the full 90, which is probably the most important thing to think of. When Brendan Rodgers was at Celtic, he was all about bringing in young talent, keeping them in, playing them every game. You know, he was very, very reluctant to do anything else. If they're in the team, they're in the team, right? So I would expect Barnes to play every game, and he did play 90 and did manage to get an assist. But he didn't really do too much. However, we've got him here, 6 shots in total, which is actually more than Vardy as well. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind. He's not very accurate, but that's cool. That'll come with time. So why I brought this up, oh yeah, Maddison, right? So Maddison shot 3 times outside the box and hasn't hit any on target. So that's something that we need to be careful of. So let's go down anyway, because this is where Maddison shines, right? Chance creation, Maddison's massive. In 170 minutes, he's 7 total chance creation, 1 big chance, 6 key passes. and he's crossed 17 times. So he is definitely the engine. He's fantastic for crosses. He's their Fraser, right? There's no getting around it. He's their Fraser. But for all of that, the reason why I would go for Tielemans over Maddison is simply because when you watched Leicester play last game, they were 100% focused on going through the middle, working the channels with Vardy, getting him in on goal and shooting. That was their strategy. We're gonna just basically pass the ball to Vardy and get him going. There wasn't a lot of flank play like they had been doing. There wasn't a lot of overlapping with Pereira and whoever they're playing on that wing, Gray or Barnes or Maddison, whoever, and the same with Chilwell. There was a lot of emphasis on going through the middle and getting Vardy in on goal. So although Maddison is a great choice and you know, he returned on the weekend, I think I'd pick Tielemans, and that's the reason. And also he's cheaper, right? So if you're in a pinch and you're looking to get, you know, all 5 premiums, then that's what I would do. But the stats still suggest that Maddison is probably the most likely to get an assist. So, and we can check that with expected goals, expected assists. Yeah, he's right there. So anyway, let's go back to our team. Let's go back to my face. Hello. Oh, that's not our team, that's my team. Right, so this is the team we've created. Now, I would go away and see if you could make this team yourselves. I think it's 105 million, 106.4 squad value. If I delete everyone, I don't know how much that's probably only like 102, but it's still enough that I know that if I'm making a team and then someone tries to go and make the exact team, I might be able to get 1 or 2 better players in there. So I've got 2.5 million still in this bank. I would be so happy with that team. If I had that team going into next week, I'd be just flying. I think it would be fantastic. But the only upgrades that you could possibly make would be, you know, your defense doubling up. You could probably change Rice to be, I don't know, you could pick Bournemouth if you want to kind of adverse your risk. But that's something that I want to go into next on the stream. Should we be risky when we're doing our free hit, or should we be safe? And that totally depends on where your overall rank is. If you want to just shoot up and you've decided, you know, it's now or never, I've only got, you know, 6-7 game weeks before it ends, and before I finish the season, I want to be in the top 10k. The only way you're going to do that is with differentials. Now, if you go without differentials and you just try and get the best template that you can now, you won't move. So you'll just stay where you are. If you're happy, if you're in the top 10k right now or in the top 100k and you're like, this is my best ever season, then yes, absolutely go for safe. So with that in mind, and if you are free hitting, you need to definitely choose now before you set up your team for game week 31. For me, I would probably play safe because I just had a really good week there. And I'm really only aiming to stay in the top 5k. I hope I don't go past that again. But yeah, I think by the end of the season, if I'm in the top 5k, that's what I want to do. So this is the team that I would build, someone safe. I could actually go safer if I wanted to, and put Higgs in, because if you're not picking Vardy, you're picking him. He's the one of 5 premiums. I think we've got Salah, Mane, Hazard, Higuain, Vardy. Philip Anderson, I think, is the next most expensive player, and I don't like any West Ham midfield at all, especially after Cardiff. So I wrote in my last Reddit post that I posted on Monday last week, I said that Nasri and Antonio aren't options anymore because they're not nailed. I don't like any of the strikers. Arnautovic has not played enough minutes to warrant me ever considering him, and Chicharito is one step away from being benched if Arnautovic decides to not have any more glass ankles. So, and then they've got Andy Carroll as well, who might come in as a sub instead of the other. So yeah, Don't like any of the strikers, and Nasri and who did I say? Antonio. They're not worth it. So that leaves Lanzini, Snodgrass, and Felipe Anderson. Felipe Anderson's not worth the money anymore. He shot once in the last 1,000,000 games. He's playing shit. He's hit a wall. He doesn't have the form anymore. He showed a bit of what he could do in the middle of the season, but right now he's just not worth the money. 7.2 million for an extra bit. You could get Fraser and Brooks. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, well, that's a bit of a stretch actually. Fraser and Brooks, Barnes and Brooks, right? For 3 more million, you get 2 good players. So yeah, I don't like him. So that leaves Lanzini and Snodgrass. Snodgrass is probably the better of the two right now for stats, but Lanzini is just finding his feet. However, Lanzini is probably going to keep his place, and Snodgrass is first out when Nasri gets back, or when Antonio decides that he is going to be playing. Pellegrini is for whatever reason given Lanzini the first 3 starts right after injury. He hasn't really done much with those starts, but he is at least less risk of rotation than Snodgrass. So after all that said and done, who would you pick? Because I can't see anyone that's worth it. They're playing Huddersfield. They'll probably score 1 or 2, but trying to pick who's going to be scoring in that is really difficult. If you need to get one of them, just go for the cheapest one again, and make sure that you've got swords set up in other areas. So right now, I could then do, let's see, instead of Fraser, go Brooks. And then instead of Tillman, go Barnes. And that is me set up with all 5 of the premiums and Azpilicueta for the blanks, right? So it is possible to get everyone in your team, and that's a pretty decent team. If you want to keep what we just had, because Fraser and Tillman are better, I think. So let's put them back in. I before E, except after T. Let's just take Aspi out. How much do we have to spend? 4.5 million, 4.9 million. Let's get someone really cheap so that I'm not overspending on some people's stuff. So let's just check. 4.4. I don't think there's going to be anyone really in there that plays. I'm not tripling up on West Ham either. There you go, Taylor. Stick him in. You're probably not going to be playing everyone in the team anyway, so there's no point in going for someone who's going to get points as your last defender, right? So we would be playing here probably a 3-4-3. We'd be playing Alexander-Arnold, we'd be playing Rice, and we'd be playing Chilwell with Fabianski, and then we'd be playing... This is where it gets difficult, right? Because we've got Tillman and Fraser. Whoever you think is going to be best, really. I might give it to Fraser. Newcastle at home versus Burnley away. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a tough one for anyone. But yeah, so... And then the 3 strikers. Vardy, Higuain, Wilson. Can't go wrong. There's going to be loads of players that you mess around with. So right now I went with this team. But earlier in the team I had was... had Rondon. So... Rondon's going to go out and score, and I'm going to feel like shit because, I had him in my team, I had him in my free week, I had my free hit, had him Monday, had him Tuesday, got rid of him Wednesday, got back Thursday, took him out Friday, and he scores on Saturday. That is going to happen to every single person who plays their free hit and their wild card. It's just the way it works. You're going to tinker and tinker and tinker, and there's going to be a player that scores 2 goals, and you had him for 10 minutes on one tinker 5 days ago, and that's what's gonna stick in your mind, that fuck, I should have kept him in, right? Don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. As long as your reasoning is definitely secure, then and your logic is sound, then you didn't make any wrong decisions. If you purposely took a punt by not taking that player, like you purposely not going for Salah and instead doing something dumb like this. Oh, that was much less dramatic than I thought it would be. Dumb, like... Oh, for God's sake, we still got it as defender. done like this. Ugh. And I don't know, putting in Robertson back in. Then you only have yourself to blame. But as long as you're not doing something ridiculous, then you'll be okay. I'm going to talk a tiny bit about why I've decided to do the two attacking, let's get him back, the two attacking Liverpool players as opposed to two defenders. And that's simply, if you're on a free hit, you have 1 week. And in that 1 week, you need to try and figure out where your risk lies and where your game rank saviors or shields, whatever you want to call them, are going to be. Now, if Liverpool concede, then two of your players are now blanking unless they can somehow get an assist, which Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are known to do. Fair enough. Over the course of 7 game weeks, that's about 7, right? About 7. Over the course of that many game weeks, you have your risk kind of spread out in amongst those game weeks. So over those 7, we could say that Liverpool might get 4, right? And they might concede in 3 of them. And that's something that we could probably say with relative success. They'll probably get more than not clean sheets. However, where is that non-clean sheet coming from? Because a lot of people would have said Burnley was a clean sheet, right? And that didn't happen. Yes, they have the best defence, and over the course of the season, if you had 2 of them in, you probably would be doing really well right now. But you only have 1 game week when you're doing your free hit. So if you only have 1 game week, then you're really only focusing on that one. And would you then risk a double up with expensive players and missing out on a main premium like Salah or Mane? I don't think it's worth it. Risk averse, yes, that's one thing, but our differential, going for only differentials, I think that's suicide still. I think you can still go for differentials without worrying about that so much. So it doesn't matter who you go for in their attack. I don't think Mane is the staple. He's been outplaying everyone on the team. 8 goals in 8 games you can't ignore it. He is better than Salah right now. He's better form, and he's even passing. I've seen him pass to Salah, and I've seen him pass to Firmino. So he's changed his game a little bit, and he's doing really, really well for it. Still doesn't pass a lot. Still doesn't pass enough, but yeah, 8 goals. You can't argue against it. Salah has been pants in returns, but really good in the eye test. He was involved in every goal, even though it was him that was getting tackled. So you can't ignore him completely. But you could potentially go for a Salah, Mane, Firmino, and get rid of Robertson if that's what you wanted to do. Firmino takes the space of the 3 that we have there. I'm actually sad that we can't fit Rondon in if we go with Higuain, so adding Firmino, is a bit of an issue. We only have 3 striker spots, and there's a lot of strikers that I want. It's c'est la vie. We can only have 3 Liverpool players, and we want 5, don't we? You linked your team on Twitter for the Rate My Team. It's a mess. I will have a look at that in 2 seconds. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it is pretty simple on who we want. We want 3 Liverpool players. We probably want 2 attackers over 2 defenders because of that risk sharing. You want 2, potentially 3. You want 2. 2 Leicester players, definitely. You don't have to go for the defence. You probably already will have someone on the defence. Actually, no, you won't, because you're free hitting. Remember, we're free hitting. So you'll have been working towards game week 32, so you shouldn't have anyone on your defence. You don't even need to worry about that right now. So just go for the Maddison Tillman argument, whatever one you want to do, and then Vardy. I think Vardy's a necessary evil. Evil because he's playing under Brendan Rodgers, and that whole mess. And but definitely worth getting in. Higuain's a hit or miss for me. I don't care if you get him in or not. If you get him in and he plays well, awesome. If you don't get him in, awesome. It doesn't bother me, and it's simply because he only has 5% ownership. You can't see that. He only has 5% ownership, right? That is nothing. That is nothing. If he scores a hat-trick and you went for Vardy who blanks, your rank is going to go down maybe 200 places. It's not enough to ruin you at all. If Hazard gets all those assists, definitely will ruin your game week. So Higuain's a big risk that you don't need to do. So it's up to you whether you want to go for a double up in Chelsea against Everton. Everton are still an okay side, despite how shocking they've looked, despite losing with a 2-goal lead against Newcastle. They play well against big guys most of the time. So yeah, I think that you can go either or. But the main players that you need to have, I think, are the 3 Liverpool players, 2 2 Bournemouth players, sorry, King or Wilson, whoever you want, because King did shoot more times than Wilson. Wilson shot just twice in the last game against Fraser, only shot once, and he probably will never shoot again. I think Fraser is definitely better than Brooks now that Wilson's back. So if you have Fraser in your team, you will be looking at getting at least 1 return with all the crosses that he takes. I think he should do well. And then Wilson over King because of that, I think, is better. So that's 2 we've got from Bournemouth, 3 from Liverpool make 5, 2 from Leicester, that's 9. Fabianski makes 10. You can't see my hand. And Hazard's 11, right? Yeah. So that works well. You're going to have to spatter about with defenders, but really I don't think you should be paying too much about defenders. We've got a free hit, put all your money in the attack, because there's not many good defenders that have good fixtures except for Liverpool and West Ham. And here I've doubled up in West Ham just to show that. So yeah, I would condone this team. I don't know if I would put Higuain in it. I would need to look up the stats a lot more. But that's my free hit team. I'm gonna just put Rondon in there and put Asby back in because I like the look of this better. And you've still got 1.2 million in the bank for this team. All right. Awesome. Okay. I've been talking non-stop for nearly an hour, so we've got time to do rate my teams. Let me just double check what's happening and take a sip. I'll take questions while I set this up. So for free hitting 32ers, would you make no sideways move at this stage under any circumstances for 31? So I'm assuming you're thinking of Brooks to Fraser or King to Wilson or Barnes to Tielemans. Under no circumstances should you be taking hits to do those. If you have a free transfer right now and you don't know what you want to do with it, and you've got a team that's got 10 players in it and you really, really hate that you got Brooks, then fine, you can go for Fraser and I won't be annoyed about it. You shouldn't be annoyed about it, but if then Brooks scores, you're going to be raging. You're going to be as raged as I was when Fulham scored. And I was mad because that was before Sterling scored his hat-trick. Human. So yeah, sideways transfers are really only good if the other player's injured, because at least they can't hurt your feelings. If you transfer out Brooks and he scores and Fraser doesn't, it's going to be a waste of a transfer. I don't think I can condone that type of using the free hit. And honestly, no one should have a free hit handy unless you've taken loads of hits, in which case, bad. So, no, I don't think you should sideways transfer right now. I'm not going to do it, and I could do it. Here's a look at my team again. I could go Brooks to Fraser, and when I go Sterling to Hazard, but that would take a hit, so I wouldn't. And even if I had 2 free transfers, I still only have 9 players playing, so I'd probably get rid of success for someone, Rondon or whoever, but I can't, so I'm not going to, and I wouldn't condone it if you guys were going to anyway. Next question. You tweeted me. You tweeted me the question. Okay. I think actually, let's go on to the first Rate My Team. So this Rate My Team that I got, quite a few people, was from David Webb. Thank you very much for sending your team in. I've got it here. So let's have a look at this. Can you guys see that okay? I think you can. So you're going to be, let's just triple check, free hitting in 32, wild card 34, and then your bench boost in 35, the exact same as me, which is good. So right away, you've got Hammer, the person we were talking about earlier. So Guaita is not playing next week, and neither is your second keeper. So right away, looking at keepers, you might want to trade him out for Fabianski. Although Fabianski has a Chelsea, I think, in 33. So although he has the best fixture just now, I don't think just because he's got the best fixture for game week 31, he's not the best choice if you're looking at it for game week 31 and 33. I think you got to be a bit better at picking, just simply for that. And the best, I think, keeper. Let me just triple check the fixtures. Actually, yeah, it's a good time to do this. Dave, are you so sure that Newcastle are going to have a fixture in game week 33? Is that a pure gamble? If Crystal Palace get through, right, they don't have someone. Is that correct? Let me just double check. I don't want to answer that without looking, because then I'll get it wrong, and then someone will tweet me saying you got that wrong, and I'll be like, oh well, and then they'll unfollow, and then I'll be sad. So give me 2 seconds. Game week 31. Looking at the next 3 transfers or 3 fixtures, yeah, Crystal Palace, if they're playing Newcastle, right? So if they get through, then Newcastle, they're not going to play, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So it is a gamble to get Newcastle players in if you're going to be free hitting in 32. But remember, you have that one transfer between game week 32 and game week 33 to sort that out if you really need to. So don't worry too much about that. Where were we? Yeah, we're checking who the best keeper is for game week 31 and 33. That's something that we're going to need to sort out. So Leicester looks like they have the best fixture run for the 3 fixtures. You've got Burnley and you've got Huddersfield. I think Schmeichel is about 4.9 million right now, which is only a little bit jump ahead of Fabianski. However, if you do have Fabianski, I would keep him. In your case, though, David, you have, let me close that, you have Guaita, and he's not even nailed. Yeah, I would probably transfer him out. Let's put a pin in that one, but Schmeichel or Fabianski for me. Robertson's fine, Alexander-Arnold's fine, you've went for the double up, that's cool. Salah as captain, okay. Son's not playing, Sterling's not playing, Wan-Bissaka's not playing, Pogba's not playing, Jimenez is not playing. You've got Vardy, you've got Barnes, you've got Punchin who is playing. One free transfer, 3. So let's really quickly rule out people that we're transferring, that we're not transferring. Okay, so that's what we need to do with our own teams. We need to do when we're analysing other people's teams. Pogba's staying. You probably have loads of funds stuck in him, and you'll want him back for the double. So keeping him. Jimenez the exact same. The only one who is, I think Sterling is fine. Let me just check how much money I've got from Sterling if I transfer him out. 11.4. Right, so you're in the exact same position as me. Oh, where are you? You're in the exact same position for me with Sterling. I'm getting Hazard in for Sterling for game week 31. And I have been planning on doing that forever. So I waited in case Sterling went up last night and Hazard didn't, because I would have made 1 million, but they both went up. So it's a nothing to me, which is weird. It never happened before. And I can't believe Sterling went up anyway. When I seen that he was going to, I was losing my mind. So yeah, you don't have a lot of funds in Sterling. You can absolutely get him back for game week 32. So I think taking Sterling out, putting Hazard in there will give you a decent set of premiums in Sterling, Salah and Vardy. And you also have the two best defenders. So that's fine. Is it worth taking a hit? Oh, you've also got Azpilicueta, which is great. He was in my team anyway. So your back four is fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, fine. Bench. It's a 4-4. 2, bench, and then you've got Son just kind of sitting there. Is it worth taking a hit at this point? I think for a keeper or for Son. Who would you trade Son for? Son's probably going to go down as well. You could put Fraser in there. You could do Son to Fraser, Sterling to Hazard, take the hit, and just know that you're not going to be having any keeper for the game week, which is not a huge deal because one goal ruins every keeper's clean sheet anyway. And it's about risk management, right? So would you rather have Fraser, who's potentially going to go off, or would you rather have a keeper who will get max 6 points unless they save a penalty? It's up to you. That's what I would do. I'd probably take a hit for Son. Maybe even get Tielemans. Oh, you've not got any Bournemouth players, actually. You know what? Yeah, Fraser. I'd go with Fraser. Am I missing anything? 4-4-2. Yeah, no, I think. And then bench Jimenez, Pogba, and Wan-Bissaka. Golden. Good to go. Your team's pretty much the same as mine, man. So, I think that is probably a good shout. I think we've got time. Should we do a couple more? Punchin's a big risk, back on the bench, but fell out with the manager. That's true. Punchin did fall out with the manager. They had a punch up. I didn't actually hear what happened, but I'm assuming based on his name that he just smacked someone. There's been a lot of that recently. Gonna stop fighting with your managers. Jesus, ruining our FPL. Punching is a risk, but he's went for the risk anyway, right? So if we've got Punching already, there's no point in getting rid of him. He might play, he might not, but wasting a transfer on that when you could be hitting for Son out and Guaita out is you've made your bed, you gotta lay in it for Punching, I think. And that goes the same with anyone who's got like a really, really cheap midfielder. They're always at risk of being benched anyway. Yeah, okay, let's do a few more because that one was quite easy. I want to double check to make sure Chelsea's got decent fixtures for their keeper, but he's quite a jump. Bournemouth, you could get... Oh, that's what he could have done. Guaita to Borich. Newcastle and Burnley home. Yeah, I'm going to also suggest that as a thing as well. Save you some money too. Bournemouth keeper as well. So Bournemouth, Leicester, or Fabianski, but just know he's playing Chelsea. Right there. Alright, let's do another one. I'm going to go and do it over here in this side. I've got 3 screens, by the way. I'm not just like, just in case you thought I was dancing halfway through the stream. Okay. Liam, I do your team all the time. I'm going to skip you, buddy. Well, just tweet you later on. But thanks for sending your team over. That was really nice of you. Let's see a team that's a bit different. Ken's, I think I did your team last week. Let's go with this one. Glogogo. 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 Decent name. That's fun to say. Yeah, so let's drag that over here. Thank you very much for sending your team over, buddy. And just to double check on what you're planning to do, free hit 32, take a -8 to get players in for the blanks, Bennett to Ake, Son to Fraser, Camarasa to Tielemans. And then you'll do your free hit and we'll figure out from there. So let's go right from the top again. Let's do the keepers. I'm just going to double check to make sure. 4-3-2, no punch, yeah. Stealth Banner wants me to do his team again. Maybe if we got time. We'll need to see if we can wrap this up before 9 o'clock. Right, anyway. Did Shar get his yellow card? I was wondering about that. Is that why he's read it out, or is he injured? I haven't actually checked, which is lazy of me. I'm very, very sorry. When I was doing my write-up, which I'll post at 9 o'clock on Reddit, I basically suggested just getting the cheapest one and didn't even check. Unlikely to play this next. Suspended, so Char's out. We all knew that was going to happen. Everyone who brought him in for the blank is raging right now. It's why I went for Lejeune. Really sorry. Go, whatever your name was. I'm going to call you Go. Alright, Go. How's it going? Char's got to go. Alisson's great, so we don't have to worry about your keeper. That's fine. Alexander Pereira, Bednarak. Southampton aren't playing, are they? Am I losing my mind? No, they've got a double. They're not playing. And then Char unfortunately got his yellow, and that sucks for you, man. Yeah, Char got suspended. Perfect. So Char's a big if. Bennett's a big if. I actually think if Char's missing this one, and he's also missing game week 32, you could potentially keep him for game week 33 and get rid of Bennett instead. So although it's annoying that Char got injured, or not injured, suspended, I think Bennett might be the best person to take out. And Wolves' defence aren't great anyway, and their fixtures are horrible up until game week 33. They're not very good. So yeah, I think that's actually a better shout. Whoever team this is, if you're on stream just now, if you're watching, get Bennett out instead. But let's keep going, because there might be other worse problems. Let me just triple check what you said. Bennett to Ake. Yeah, so you've already made the decision that you want to move Bennett. So let's see who we should get anyway. Moving on, Pogba being benched, Jimenez being benched right away. Bednarak being benched, I guess, because we've got too many problems in defence to worry about him. So 1, 2, 3 bench. That means we've got Hazard. That's fine. King's fine. Aguero. I assume you're not getting rid of Aguero, which means you're only going to have one player up front. So that means you've got Alisson, Alexander, Pereira, Hazard, Salah, and King. And you're doing 3 transfers, which will get you 9 players. So that's fine. I think that's okay. 9's good. Camarasa to Tillman, 100%. I've been going on about him all game, all stream. Camarasa to Tillman, perfect. Do it. Son to Fraser, I like that as well. You've already got King. Is there anyone else in the team that we made that you're missing? Mane. You probably don't have enough for Mane. And you can't get him anyway because you've got 3. So let's just leave it. So Fraser's fine. If you're going Camarasa to Tillman, that's going to take 1.4 million. You've already got 9 in the bank, so that leaves 5 million, or 0.5 million. Then Son to Fraser frees up like 3 million. So you could actually go Bennett to Azpilicueta or something. You don't need to get a Bournemouth defender. Bournemouth are probably going to concede. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they're coming up against... it slipped my mind completely. Who are they coming up against? Yeah, Newcastle. Newcastle are back against... or they're back from just absolutely decimating Newcastle or Everton. So I think that because they're on such a high, they're probably going to score. And Rondon's stats are unreal. So... if you're planning to keep Aguero, it means you're going to play 1, so you really want to have 5 players in midfield. Son to Fraser, Camarasa to Tillman, and you could do Bennett to Azpilicueta. I think that's a great shout. And then you've still got Char for game week 33, and you could even do another transfer in game week 33. You could go... Bednarak to someone and just secure your 11 players for that week. But don't worry about that too much. I think your team's fine. 9 players is absolutely fine. You've got the best keeper, you've got the second best defender, because I think Robertson's better. Scottish, you know how it goes. Yeah, I think your team's fine. It's annoying that you're taking hits so late, but I'm sure that was planned and it's all good. And you've got Hazard and Salah, and that should cover you. I wish you could get Vardy, but Jimenez and Aguero are too good to get rid of. I think you're right. So, yeah, that's what I would do for that team. I'm not missing anything. No. Awesome. So, yeah. Do we have time? We've got time. We've got time, guys. Let's do one more. We'll see who sent me stuff. Let's go back. Let's look up. All right, Liam. We haven't done yours on stream before. Let's just do it. Let's move that over here. Whoa. All right. I think we need to go to this screen to see that. Okay. So Liam's someone who I've been talking to on and off for like 5 game weeks now, and no, maybe longer than that. And he's been asking me for some advice going forward into the next game weeks, etc., etc. And yeah, he's been doing really well, and 85 points is great. So let's see how you're set up for the next game week. You've got Diop, Alexander-Arnold, and Pereira, Fabianski, perfect. In midfield, you're going to have to get rid of Sterling and Son. And up front, you've got King and Vardy. I think you're all set. You've got nine players at least that are playing, right? Transferring out Sterling to Hazard is easy. If you wanted to get Son out for Fraser or potentially Snodgrass, I don't really like Snodgrass. I would probably go Tielemans or Maddison, to be honest. You've got enough money, I would do that. It triples up on Leicester though, and that's the thing to remember. It's a bit risky. But again, we need to decide whether you want to be risk-free or you want to be, differential United. So we'll figure that out. No worries, man. It's all good. That was the last guy just saying thank you. Now, Liam, I know that your team is set up for the blank, but you don't have your free hit. So that's something that we need to consider when looking at this team. What do we do if we don't have free hit? I actually don't think I would take Sterling out. I don't think I would be taking Pogba out, or Rashford, or Wan-Bissaka, and potentially not even Son. I think I wouldn't make any moves. If you did have your free hit, we could go through what we were saying just there, but you need to save your transfer, I think, and that's so that you can trade in your big hitters for someone who's actually going to be playing a double. You want to get another City player in, you want to get another Man United player in, and you're not going to be able to do that effectively without at least taking a few hits. So saving a transfer is really key here, man. So I think that's what I would do if I were you. And then we can work on what your double is next stream. Right, one more. Stealth Panic, we'll do your team, and I will show you my pretty face. Where is your team? Here's my team for Game Week 31. 1 free transfer, not much in the bank. We'll defo getting out Ederson with a free transfer and Bednarak for a hit. Either Fabianski plus 4.9 defender, or Boric plus 5.6 defender. Then if I want to get rid of Richarlison or Anderson for -8, would be okay with that, but that's a maybe. So let's check your team. Thank you for sending both pictures. This one will be fine, but cheers, that was good. Oh, I've left that open. Alright, last one before the stream ends. I've actually enjoyed this. It's been very chilled out. I really like messing about my team. That was fun. Ederson out for a keeper, whoever it is. You're free hitting in 32, I think, if I remember correctly. So that means that we need to make sure that the person that you're getting out is actually going to be good both game weeks, and Fabianski is not. So I honestly would, because you have the money, probably go Schmeichel, because he has the best fixtures for both. But you could also instead just go hammer to Boric and keep Ederson and not lose any money that you have on him. And I think we talked about that last time. And it just means that, unfortunately, Bednarak doesn't really have a lot of money to go to. I don't actually think you could do that. You could change Bednarak, But do you need to? Let's see, you've got 3 defenders. You could play Robertson, Digne and Alexander-Arnold. And then you've got Salah, Hazard, Richarlison, Felipe, and then Rondon, Vardy. So you've got 11 players. Hammer to Borch. I like that a lot. I like that team a lot. So you go Borch, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Salah. Digny's not going to get anything, but at least he's playing. Hazard's good. Richarlison's might not get anything. Felipe Anderson, Pogba, Jimenez. Depends on when you got Jimenez, right? So if you've got Jimenez really late on, you could potentially get rid of him. I think I remember saying you got him early. I can actually do it, the math on it, without having to really ask. Hold on. So he's 6.8 and you got 6.7. That means you got him at 6.6. You really only have 0.2% value in him, right? So if you wanted to, you could go Hammer to Boric and Jimenez to Wilson. And that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players playing. 10, 11 players, right? No? Am I right? 3, 4, 3? Yeah, that would give you 11 players and you're only taking 1 hit. What do you think of that? What do I think of that? If you wanted to get rid of Felipe Anderson or Richarlison, and I would probably get rid of Richarlison for Fraser as an extra hit, and that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like I say, it's against my own personal direction that I'm taking my team in with minimal hits and staying where I am, trying not to lose any rank. If you're looking to spearhead this game week and go straight through it and try and get the best people in, then yeah, maybe get rid of Richarlison for an extra hit. But if I was you, I would just leave Ederson on my bench. I would place Boric instead of Hammer, and then because you've not got a lot of value in Jimenez, just take him out, put in Wilson, and then you've got 0.3 value in the bank and you've got 11 players. I think that's what I would do. I think I'm really happy with that. And that means you can leave Bednarak as a Nabde on your bench. You've still got Wan-Bissaka. Unfortunately, you've got Digne and Richarlison still on your team. We talked about that last week, and then I'm pretty sure both of them came in, so well done on that. That's really funny. Felipe Anderson didn't do anything, and he probably won't do anything for the rest of his life. It seems like, unless he can get out of this funk, he misses Arnautovic. I think that's the thing. He's the same with Fraser. When Fraser got Wilson back, they just loved it. They hugged, they scored, they laughed, they cried. It was great. I think Felipe Anderson is missing Arnautovic as much as Fraser was missing Wilson. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with your team. I love most of the picks. Salah's great, Vardy's great, double defense worked out really well 2 game weeks ago. It's gonna keep working out well. Yeah, good stuff. So if you've got any other questions, anything else, then now's the time. I'm going to and read them out. If I'm priced out of Asby, is Louise the next best option for blank game week? Probably. I don't like Chelsea's defence, and Azpilicueta has been doing really well in attack, which is why I picked him. David Luiz is probably next best. So let's double check if you're priced out. Chelsea. Alonso's on no one. Can't get him anymore. David Luiz. When was the last time he got an assist? Game week 25. Got a goal. He's not as attacking as we make him out to be honest. You know what? I think yeah, it's fine. If you're priced out with Azpilicueta and it's just for a week, or just for game week 31, 33, then you can go for him and you shouldn't be worried about it. I definitely prefer Azpilicueta. Definitely 0.4 million more. But if you can't squeeze him in, is there anyone else that I would want instead of him? Robertson, obviously. TAA. Nope. I don't think so. You could double up on West Ham, but that's eggs in one basket, right? We don't like doing that here on this stream. We don't like doing that as part of the FPL Dave advice. Twitter thing that I'm doing, I don't condone it. The only reason I would do it here is if we are free hitting. For you though, yeah, no, David Luiz is fine. I think David Luiz is fine. Next question, is Boric rising tonight or Hammer dropping tonight? Let's double check. So if you don't have this in favorites somewhere, price change, let's go in there. So here's my little favorites thing. If you don't have this in here, price change, then you should. Rice is changing tonight, Alexander-Arnold, Boric might. Let's see, Hammer. Hammer's not changing, he's nowhere near changing. He's already changed, so that's the issue. You're already past the point where you can worry about him. Boric was supposed to change last night and didn't, so he's probably rising soon. However, if you've got, if you're going with the idea of trading out Jimenez to Wilson, you've got 0.3 or whatever to spend anyway, so don't worry about it too much. You can afford 3 price changes, although we want to get the best value for our money anyway, so yeah, don't worry about that. He's definitely not changing. So really quickly, just how I'm setting my team up for the next game week. Very simple. Bam. And then I'm trading Sterling out for Hazard, and that's my team, and I'll not have Rashford playing. So I'm gonna have 10 players playing next week. I think that's fine. I had a really good game week this week, so I'm not too worried about next week no matter what happens, as long as I don't go down by too much. If I can stay in the top 2k, it means that I have a really good chance of climbing in game week 32. So expect next week to see Sterling as Hazard. I just want to see if the casuals buy him going into game week 32 and then not realizing he's not playing, because that would mean he would rise more, and that would mean I would make more money off of stupid people. So yes, or not stupid people, that's probably me to say. Dumb-ish, not interested enough people, let's say that. That's a good idea. So yeah, that's the end of the stream. Thank you very much for watching. It's been really fun. This is my second stream. I'll probably get a little bit better at talking and doing stuff at the same time. But yeah, we went through everything. I really like doing the rate my team, so please, if you really do need me to rate your team, I enjoy it, so just send them to me. I don't really go on the Reddit thread too much anymore, simply because I get a lot of people posting to me anyway. So yeah, just don't be scared to reach out. I'm always on Twitter anyway. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, you can do at FPL_Dave. It means that you'll be able to see when I'm going live, etc. You guys know the drill. And yeah, I'll be streaming every Monday from now until infinity. And that's the FPL Dave guarantee. I still don't know how to stop a stream, so let's pick a fun song to go out on. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. And good luck with your blank game weeks. For anyone who's doing free hit 31, very jealous right now. I wish I could spend the next 5 days going through my team. See you later. Thanks very much for watching.
Rumors spreading round United Texas town about the shack outside the game. You know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that whole mile on the range. They got a lot of nice girls.
Dig it.